Hi Capricorn, this is your August 2024 reading. It's a pretty windy day here, so I'm gonna have to try and pull these cards quickly and get them set down. But as I was meditating, something that came through was like this anchor image. So to me that felt like something not like weighed down or heavy. It could feel a little bit boxed in, the energy around you though now. And anchors are also a symbol of security and safety though, and like holding tight and being firm and things like that. So you're in a secure, safe space, but perhaps feeling a little weighed down or boxed in by something in your current energy. The other image that came through then was totally different. It was somebody on a motorbike and heading off in a kind of like speedy, adventurous direction. So that could be where you're at right now, like kind of where you are currently versus something coming in that will take you on a more exciting and fast-paced route forward, adventure sort of energy. Well, let's see what the tarot has for Capricorn August 2024. The Ace of Swords, beautiful affirmative energy in the middle of the reading with Temperance. So wherever you're going right now or whatever you're doing, you are undoubtedly on the right track. The Temperance card is this kind of divine blessing over you at the moment, but it at least says that the path here in the background is the one you're meant to be traveling on. So no matter what, you're in the right place. The Seven of Wands, the Seven of Swords in reverse, the Ten of Wands, the Five of Swords, and let me just lay these out and I'll put some stones down. The Knight of Swords, the Hierophant, the Knight of Pentacles, and the World card. Well, the World card is that really major Saturnian energy of yours, isn't it? Where you're at this kind of culmination point, and by the end of August, if not the beginning of September, you are sort of feeling like you're at this end of an era in a big way. I think you've been feeling this for quite a while now, Capricorn, that you've been like at this end of an era, and it almost seems like for some reason that's the end of the month of October or August going into September. It's like the deal is closed, you're moving on to the next chapter, and you're absolutely closing the chapter that you've been on. Two knights in the reading, Knight of Pentacles, Knight of Swords. Okay, let's just get this out here. The Knight of Swords is coming through here. The Knight of Pentacles and the Knight of Swords. Well, whenever we see more than one knight in the reading, it tells me that you're going to be taking two sort of approaches this month. Like you've got two goals, two ambitions. There's two important things to get done or see to. It tells me that your energy isn't scattered because these knights really have a focal point of like purpose and mission and things like that, but your energy is going to have to be split between two main areas of life. One, Knight of Pentacles, likely that job that's taking a really long time and actually seems to be stuck. That's the anchor. Then the Knight of Swords, which is a really fast moving energy in the deck, the fastest moving energy in fact, slowest and fastest. So the other sort of point of focus this month for you is the one that takes off really quickly, that seems a little bit more adventurous. And whoa, this wind is crazy. Oh my god, look at all these little trinkets and gizmos and gadgets in the background just like going 90 miles an hour. So that's what I see for you. I feel like there is this like very much thundery sort of taking off into motion, very fast, very blustery energy coming up around one of your initiatives this month. Okay, and let's get into it card by card. But it requires a big rock. What the hell? Okay, bear with me, Capricorn. Okay, I know where everything is, so it doesn't really matter that these cards are all jumbled up for things right now. At the bottom of the deck, you had the Justice card reversed and the Nine of Pentacles reversed with the Eight of Wands with your Devil card energy, which is Capricorn Major Arcana. So the Justice card tells me that you are quickly ending the end of a karmic cycle. Now, there is one final push through on this, and you might have heard astrologers talk about Pluto will be regressing into the sign of Capricorn for the last time in our lifetime, and that's happening September to November of 2024. You probably heard, like, Pluto's finishing up. It's, let's say, 15 to 16 year transit in the sign of Capricorn. You've probably been hearing that a lot and wondering, like, well, when is that actually finally happening? That is closing down that karmic cycle, because Pluto's so associated with the I guess the soul and your evolution of consciousness and things like that. That is absolutely finishing between September and November this year. So there is one major chapter of your life where you just feel like you always owe something here, that you always are indebted here. The Nine of Pentacles in reverse is like a larger amount of, not even money, but it's energy and resources that you always feel is like being depleted from you, and you can never be on top, or you can never have enough. And anytime you do make a breakthrough around this Eight of Wands and you push forward and you kind of get momentum, the Devil card, you feel Three of Swords, you feel like there is just this weight and density that always kind of puts you back to square one, or you never are able to enjoy that too much. And you might think that they're very like kind of Capricorn themes in general, like, taking life very seriously at times, but there's a break in that. And Capricorn, I said this before, like, you really are the sign with that Benjamin Button, like, aging backward kind of quality. And that's not only in a physical appearance, that's kind of like in how you navigate the world and things like that. And like, look here, I haven't had a reading where I've had to put two big dense Saturnian Capricorn blocks of like heavy matter here on your reading. But there is like this heaviness that is lifting now, and that's that anchor. I think the anchor felt like it felt really good for a while, but year after year you did start to feel like this was kind of a duty, or it was too much of an obligation, burdensome, or it felt like many times you were thinking, like, am I boxed in like this for good? Am I always going to be known as XYZ? Am I always going to be doing this and repeating this cycle? Justice is the karmic card. In the reversal, it tells me that there is still a little bit of unfinished karma in this cycle. There's something you still owe. I hope that this doesn't sound like scary or anything like that. When I say owe, all I mean is there's just a pattern or a behavior or an action or an interchange that has to still play out. It's like a retrograde. Mercury retrograde has started today as I record this, and well, Mercury is very fast and speedy and windy at times himself. So all this blustery wind going from kind of calm now to something that just takes up again and takes off again. You won't kind of are wondering in August, why sometimes it's so smooth and why sometimes it's really challenging when it's the same thing. So you're doing something, you're with somebody, you're in a certain place in your life, and sometimes it just feels really easy breezy, and then sometimes it feels challenging. And at times it's not the anchor that's challenging you, it's the new direction or there's picking up in pace and the adventure energy that's coming in with that kind of like motorbike I saw as I was meditating. All right, so with retrogrades, that doesn't mean the planet stops working. So during this Mercury retrograde, which lasts pretty much all of the month of August, basically think of it like a strand of DNA being repaired. There was something that you missed out on, there was something that didn't go the way your soul had wanted it to go. So during a retrograde, like Pluto is now retrograde and heading back towards Capricorn for the final time in our lifetime, it's going back to repair that strand of DNA. It's going back to rewrite something that finally will be setting you free. And that's when you'll feel that anchor symbol kind of lifting and moving. Even if it's not super far, it isn't going to be as wedged down into the earth for much longer. Now I'm going to get into these cards. And if you feel like this reading resonates, I'm going to link below where you can find an extended version of this. But if this is all you're sticking around for, let's just get into it. So the first card that came through is the Ace of Swords with the Temperance card. So this would tell me that currently, as you watch this reading, some sort of a opportunity comes through. And it might not just be so, bare bones opportunity, like very obvious. This is more like a thought, if anything, and it kind of is this eureka moment that comes through for you that feels like your whole life is lightening up, right? Like it's this flash of kind of lightning, that's what this weather feels like to me today, that a thunderstorm would be great because it's just very heavy. It's what I would call close. I don't know if you use that word. We definitely use it here in Ireland. And I've been in Ireland for 8.5 weeks, and this is the first day with weather like this where it has felt like a thunderstorm is just around the corner. I don't know how often you get thunderstorms here if you're watching in Ireland. We get them in New York a lot. But there is this kind of like lightning flash energy around you now, Capricorn. And what it is doing, Ace of Swords, ace of validation, of affirmation, of cutting through the heaviness in your life right now. And the Temperance card, I mean, come on, it's an angel. It's enlightenment. It's the path forward. It's ease and breeze. And it tells me that you get this sudden flash of insight or this thought, this download, even a dream, even just some sort of information or brain wavelength that makes you certain, Temperance card, the soul growth, that you're on the right path, that this is the way forward for you. Now the thing about that is it's coming with this challenge, 7 of Wands and 7 of Swords in the reversal. Sevens are about a challenge to overcome, right? So you know that when you express this to other people, or when you actually go forward with this 7 of Wands, you're going to run into challenge because people won't necessarily agree with what you are. They won't be picking up what you're putting down necessarily, and some of the time you might not even either. In the subconscious, the 7 of Swords has their doubts about this too. So there's a part of this that is uncharted territory, not only for you and your Capricorn personality, your avatar, your body working through this realm. There's something on a soul level that your soul is like, have we done this before? I don't know. Is this familiar? And there is this kind of quality of 7 of Swords in the reversal. Subconscious mind is tripping you out and saying like, I don't know how to do this because I thought I knew everything. I thought we'd been through every single phase and stage of life on a subconscious level or in a past life, and now what you're doing is something that's slightly unfamiliar because it is like the anchor has been more powerful than ever, and I think that this big theme in your life, it's like your whole life has been about this kind of this anchor that has been holding you down, weighing you down in some ways, but I hear boxing you in. And it was kind of this sort of, I guess I thought I'd always live here. I guess I thought I'd always be doing this career, or I just assumed that I would be forever at this sort of station. And the thing is now that there is this sort of adventure on the horizon, which is a whole new ball game for you. And the subconscious mind is starting to trigger a little bit of doubt. The one thing that it's sort of saying is take it slow, and the highest self is saying don't take it slow. The highest self is saying go for this. Like, you'll learn as you go, you'll adapt, don't worry. This is a super adaptable card. So is the Knight of Pentacles, even though it's slower. The subconscious mind is not right. Like, that's just because it's like, we think it's like the subconscious, oh my God, so powerful, so mighty. That has all of its own issues and tissues in and of itself. It's a freaky ass place. So that doesn't say that that's the right answer. Just know that it's there, and it's coming from a place of conscious and subconscious. This is an unknown, and I don't know how it's going to be, and I never thought it would be this way. Like, you never thought this would be happening for you necessarily. So I don't know, the highest self is actually coming through with the Knight of Swords to say go for this and don't waste too much more time. It's probably happening one way or another. The World card at the end of the reading is here to say that you're closing out a major, I'm not going to just say cycle of your life, but like way of being, like Capricorn as you know yourself, the person as you know yourself now. By November, December, when Pluto is ultimately gone from your sign, you are really going to be another person. And you might think like, I've changed a lot, like that Pluto through Capricorn has really kind of intensely been like a meat grinder for you, like day after day going through that meat grinder and coming out in another way. And ouch, it's not always been easy, but fundamentally now this is the real McCoy. Like you are changed at the end of this transit, and that's telling me that some of you will be a whole new role by November, and this process of transformation is well underway in the month of August, with in fact even a notable change at the end of the month. And change is good. 10 of Wands in the rocks, I can't. 10 of Wands in your past energy here. So the 10 of Wands is saying like, you know, things have been tough. I'm exhausted. The past energy is all about how much you've gone through and what it's taken to get to where you're at. And again, the 10 of Wands, look, it's really heavy. There's two big rocks here on the table. There is something about an energy breaking that's been too heavy. The anchor is just kind of lodged there, and you feel lodged. You feel sort of just like really like deep into something. Some of you are so deep into something that that's the thing. You actually can't kind of rationally see how this would ever change or why this would ever change. But that's the thing about the world. That's the thing about this human experience. You know, we come here with the roadmap in a sense. Maybe that's your birth chart, your human design chart, your intuition, your prayer, whatever way you kind of navigate this. And maybe some of you just kind of go with the chaos and, you know, follow your heart, and at the same time, isn't that all you really need to do? And the 10 of Wands is here saying that recently it's felt for you like this is the way it's always going to be. You couldn't see anything further. Like this person's view is essentially blocked by the amount of commitments or obligations or promises, vows and expectations that are there currently for you. Look, you've got things to pay, you've got debts to settle, and that karmic debt I talked about, like that karmic cycle, it's not about you having to, okay, I have to sacrifice everything and I just have to give up everything I've worked for and things like that. It's absolutely nothing like that. Some of you will though. Some of you will actually want to sort of just give up everything so far. Sick of being weighed down. The anchor is doing two things. For some of you watching, it's too heavy now, it's too dense. For others of you, all it does is provide a very safe and secure tie or hold to somewhere that you still want to be, but you're looking maybe to invite in a new trajectory or possibility or take on a different role altogether. And the thing about that is now, you know, the thing about the 10 of Wands is you don't have to sacrifice everything to kind of alleviate this karmic pattern. All you have to do is finish the pattern. The 10 of Wands is the last card of the cycle. So you've had this 10 of Wands lifestyle for so long. Now it's just time to wrap something about that up. You've had maybe this job or obligation, maybe external circumstances change, and for whatever reason that ceases to be an obligation for you. That's the thing about this. The world has its own kind of way of presenting how, even when you can't see it, how this is actually going to change for you, or how you get on the motorbike, so to speak. That was the image, like it was anchor and then somebody like going off into the direction of what I would see as future. From my perspective, helmet on, big wheels. So to me that talked about like making a lot of ground very rapidly and still having safety. I guess the helmet, like still having like security. It's not something foolish or anything like that. Maybe in the extended we'll be able to get into things that are a little less symbolic in nature, but maybe you're understanding some of the symbols here. And I'll go back over things and speak to them very mundanely after I kind of get it, because I'm kind of just like going with it at the same time. I'm not sure where this is fully going yet. Right. Okay. So the Five of Swords was coming up in the near August. Okay, so during the month of August, there is this energy that takes place around the 18th, 19th, 20th of the month, and it's pretty big. There is a full moon in Aquarius on the 19th, and there's a hell of a lot of other alignments taking place on the 18th too. Let me think. We'll have Venus. What will Venus be up to? Squaring Jupiter. Okay. What else will be going on? Mercury will be in the retrograde, and there's just other things that are going on that I can't think of at the top of my head right now, but I'm sure if you look up your favorite astrologer on YouTube, they'll be giving you an August breakdown. But I do know that the 19th of the month, with that full moon in Aquarius, it's very kind of tricky in a way, because there's so much going on, and the Five of Swords tells me this could be a kind of conflict in your month ahead. An inner conflict. If that's the case, it would look like, oh boy, I fucked up there and I regret that so much. Okay, if it's an external conflict, it's somebody like making a balls of something, so much so that it affects your plans and it affects the relationship. Okay, so there is Five of Swords. Always, this is the message with the Five of Swords, always a solution to the problem at hand. This month, the solution for the Five of Swords energy that you may or may not run into, I mean, I'm reading it that you are running into this energy because it's my reading. But the Knight of Swords is the remedy for this, and it says, don't freeze, take action. The most maladaptive kind of stress response is probably freeze. Or would it be fawn? Okay, fight is better. Flight is better, I guess. Oh, fight is probably, in some situations, the best, because you address the situation head on. Flight, maybe just, avoid this for now and get back to it. Less good would be the freeze. And that's what I think the Knight of Swords is saying as a message from the highest self. When something comes up that seems to be the most challenging or tricky part of your month ahead, do something about it, act on it, respond. And even if it's just a statement, or if it's something that you can do, like, sometimes it's very natural, I think, especially to kind of just like shut down or disassociate when something really stressful happens. Give yourself time to breathe and to sort of recalibrate, of course. Like, well, do whatever you want, but this is just the message from the highest self that I'm going to interpret for you, Capricorn. And always take what resonates from these readings, of course, and leave what doesn't. But Knight of Swords is very action oriented, so I think that the highest self would say the best thing you could do is at least tackle a part of this in terms of finding a solution as quickly and as swiftly and as concisely, efficiently as possible. So the Hierophant, I believe, was the card for the environment. This is like a teacher or a mentor or some sort of a wise person and they're sitting in your environment. So this would be a month where it might be good to kind of speak to I don't know what your interest is, an astrologer, speak to a life coach, speak to that financial advisor or that spiritual advisor or a priest. They could be a yogi, they could be just somebody who lives on your street or is in your family that has gone through this before, so they have wisdom through their lived experience. There is a call for you to ask advice this month and to get a second opinion, but from somebody who really you can trust and they're committed to doing the right thing, ethical, of course, and they really have a good moral compass. Because the Five of Swords, it's not to say that if you make a mistake that your moral compass is wayward, but you've been doing what you've been doing for so long now, in a sense, even for so long that it's kind of just almost part of this karmic conditioning or unconscious, inadequate at this point, if I'm honest, pattern response to life, to where you're going, to the adventure that lies ahead, that, you know, you might not be making the right choices. I read something, it was some sort of a, I don't know, God knows what it was, some sort of a meme or pop psychology meme or something. And I'm just paraphrasing it, but it was basically like most people's behavior isn't set in malice. It's just an unconscious response. You know, it's just like we all kind of move through the world in a way until we maybe make more conscious choices or gather more self-awareness or something. But we can sometimes go through life in a response like that isn't really thought through all of the time. And it's certainly not to hurt anybody, but it can come up. We do hurt other people through our lack of awareness, and the same can be said. Other people will end up offending or brushing us up the wrong way, rubbing us up the wrong way, and bothering us through not always malice. But the Five of Swords, you'll be able to spot this month when somebody's intentionally doing something to bother you, bug you, or to spite you, or to even like undercut. The Seven of Swords was there too, so you know, it would be remiss if I didn't say that with the Five of Swords and the Seven of Swords in the same reading, that there isn't this kind of like potential for deception, like the dodgy car salesman or somebody trying to scam you or take advantage of you. That could be possible. And if it's not literally happening right now, the subconscious is like, that's what's holding us back, you know. The subconscious mind is saying like, I feel like there's been something that has scammed me here like this before, or that has been shady, and now I'm a little bit more cautious. And the conscious mind is more kind of like, no, we're doing this. If I have to fight for my principles, if I have to advocate for myself, if I have to, you know, really be very opinionated and self-assured and confident, there's something higher than you guiding you towards this. And not everyone's going to understand that, Capricorn. Call it a higher power, your highest self, call it you. It's all coming from you. It's not coming from an external. There is something that you know that is kind of leading you forward on this, let's call it motorcycle. It was a big, like a Harley kind of a thing. You're on the right path, and you get that. I think that might even be the opportunity that comes through in August. Through all of this density, heaviness, there is just this like breakthrough that, you know what, I'm fucking right. I'm on the right path. And the World card, I'm closing a cycle this month. The Knight of Pentacles, this is saying that, look, there is still something that has your focus, that doesn't move as quickly, that seems to be kind of stuck in the mud. It's the anchor, and it has your focus. And, you know, it just tells me that it stays the same. Nothing really changes on this month. You're just still there with that anchor energy, dedicated, committed to that. But that August is the preparation, Virgo energy, the Knight of Pentacles. And maybe after that jangly weird shit happens around the 18th, 19th, 20th, then the sun moves into Virgo around the 23rd, Knight of Pentacles, and you're able to kind of just focus again on the kind of commitments, the dedication, where you just want to just stay taking care of this. And then the other energy coming in with all the focus is like what you're acting on, what you have to respond to, what you have to kind of like, it's like a stress response almost that comes up this month too. We'll get into all of that into the extended. But Capricorn, I'll link where you can find that below. And I did say I'd mundanely fly through this, right? Just knowing that at the moment, like, you've got a lot of major insights coming through. You feel good, you feel protected, you're feeling pretty blessed. And you're coming out now of a period of pretty much like being very tired and exhausted and having a lot on your plate. Just knowing that you're kind of like coming towards the end of a major cycle. 2 nights in the reading, of course, that suggests something like ambition, goals, and having two sort of different like trajectories or kind of like important missions to tackle. You're gonna have to assert yourself this month, and people will be kind of like not fully understanding. Trust your gut, especially when you're buying anything important or being sold up the garden path. in that case, that's when you'll be looking towards the Hierophant, somebody who's dealt with this before, somebody who's even a professional, or even like somebody like a psychologist, a counselor, life coach, astrologer. All right, thanks for watching, Capricorn.